My name is Karin, and I'm really happy to be here. And I'm so happy that my voice is starting to shake. No, I'm just kidding. But my voice is a bit like shaky today, so bear with me. And I'm going to do a marketing one-on-one, something called customer life cycle or consumer or user's life cycle. And I'm going to speak a lot, but just feel free to ask any questions that you have, something which is related or not related. It will be more fun if it will be more interactive. So just really feel free. So I grew up in Israel. I did a business degree in IDC, and I was a really shitty waitress. So I said I can't afford IDC. It's pretty expensive, and I'm not doing, my balance is like really bad. So I opened this agency promoting small, medium businesses using AdWords and Facebook. This is how I sponsor college. And when I finished, I opened a startup. We tried to think how technology can create magic moments in romantic relationship. So we did it for 2 years. We had no budget at all, and we had pretty ambitious goals. And we succeeded some of them. We failed in some others. And after this, there was the growth hacking, which is a new word. You probably hear a lot of like growth hacking. Growth hacking is basically marketing, just with a more sexy word. So I was a growth hacking in a startup doing education for music using technology. And then for moving from a tiny company, which is my company, from 3 people to a bigger company, which was 20 people, I moved to Google, which is a bigger company. I was managing the brand of Google in Israel for 2 years, and now I moved to San Francisco to manage a product called Firebase. So I manage the marketing for a product, so it's pure product marketing. And what I realized that it doesn't matter if it's a tiny, small startup with 0 marketing budget, or if it's a 20 people startup with like $2 million that they raised, or if it's a Google that the budget is higher. I keep going back to these methodologies that I'm going to speak about today. And it can work for apps, it can work for websites, it can work for NGO or for a startup. And it's just a series of 5 questions you need to ask yourself. So first, I will start by asking a question. We'll ask you a question. What do you think is marketing? If you need to define it, is my line.
Informing customers about your product or company.
Okay.
Connecting with your audience.
Okay. Connecting. What?
Conveying an idea.
Conveying an idea. Someone else?
Convincing people that they want what you're offering.
Convincing people.
Reaching people.
Reaching people. Okay, so this is everything that you're saying is right. And this is actually the first layer of marketing. But if you're thinking, and this was actually a transformation that was happening in the last few years from what we concept marketing is, which is only the first part. So the first part is I want more users. So making sure that users know about my idea or about my app or about my product, convincing this idea. But actually, it really depends on your goals. And every time you thinking of doing a new campaign, the first thing you need to ask yourself and ask your peers is, what is our goal? And there's not too many goals, okay? We succeeded to minimize those into 5 goals. And the first one is actually right. I want more users. I want more users to come into my product, to come into my website, to visit my idea. The second goal is I want more users to engage with my product. The fact that users come and hear about my idea doesn't mean that they're actually using it or doing some action that I want them to do inside my idea. The third one is that I have users, I'm all good, but I want my existing users to go back to my idea. How many apps we have on our phone? We have on average 24 apps. How many apps we use every day? Around between 5 to 8 every day. It means that around 20 apps that we installed, we never use them. So it's good and it's amazing that I succeeded to have 2 million installs, but if I have only 1,000 people using monthly activated my app, I'm not in a great situation. So it could be that I'm doing this whole campaign only to make my existing users to go back and visit my app. I want users to tell their friends using my product. So if you think about numbers, let's say a user cost me, and I will get to what it means cost me. User cost me $4. Okay, let's say I paid for an ad $4, and from this ad I reached one user. If this user tell 3 of his friends about how amazing my app is, and I get more 3 installs from this one user, actually user doesn't cost me $4. User cost me $1, because now this $4 it brought one user, and he brought another 3 friends. $4 divided by 4. So could be that my goal is to utilize my existing users to make them tell their friend. This is a totally different goal from the first goal to the second or the third goal. And the 5th goal is I need more paying users. The fact that someone hear about my idea, use it, came back, tell their friend, and now I want him to pay money, because NGO is good, but startups need to earn money in order to be sustainable. And this is a different goal of a campaign that has different medium and different means that you can use in order to reach to this goal. So this is what we're going to speak about today, and this is what I want all of you to come out for these 45 minutes. And it has a model, it's called the R model, okay, like a pirate, which is built from 5 steps: acquisition, activation, retention, referral, and revenue. This idea was like, all around until this guy called Dave McClure. He's an angel investor. He's also founded a 500 startups accelerator. Put all of those ideas into this one pretty easy to remember methodology. And the goal here is first to define what does each line mean about your idea, about your venture. And again, I know many here are not doing something which is an app, social network app. It's totally fine, and this is applicable to everything every venture that we have. So first, define to yourself, what does it mean each line from here? And then how do you measure it? And then make sure you measure it, and you see what is the percentage that you have in each step. Now, what does it mean? It means that basically, I will get back to it. It means that, okay, try to be sophisticated and it's going away. Okay, never mind. What does it mean? It means that here you see, this is basically all the steps, okay? Just imagine that here you have retention and monetization and virality. It means that from each step you're going to lose users, right? If in the beginning you're reaching 100 users that go into your website, you won't have in the end 100 paying users. You might have if you have the best product in the entire world, but most of us doesn't have it. The what? Oh. Thing? Yeah. Oh, okay.
It happened in the last, maybe now. Session. Oh, there we go.
Yeah. Okay, great. So what I'm going to do now is basically to go on each one of the steps, and I will give you some examples of how people are doing it in different means, in different ways. And in the end, you can think about maybe your venture and think how each step can apply to your ventures. So first, just before I'm going to the first one, which is acquisition, I talked here about the conversion, right? We start with 100%. This is the first users that reach to your website. So the definition of acquisition is getting users, the first time users getting into your website or install your app. This is basically the first time there is some kind of relationship between you and your users. This is acquisition. We call it acquisition. It sounds like we acquire them because we acquire them in money. It doesn't mean that we need to pay money for real. Like ads, we do pay money. But let's say social, okay? I can tweet, I can put stuff, I can create a really good community, but you can say that but it doesn't cost me money. But it is, because it costs you time, and time equals money. So everything basically in all of this costs you money. So you start with 100%, and then you go down. What you see here is estimated value. So basically, you paid 1 cent to acquire to get user into your website, but the prices goes up as the conversion go down. Okay, there is like opposite correlation between them. Until here, we're clear?
Is
this is how much you pay in order to get one user into your website. Okay, so let's say I pay 100. Let's say I pay dollar per user. I will see here dollar and it chooses. Okay, and this is very important. This is basically how this guy, okay, it could be different things inside according to your venture. This is how this person, Dave, decided to measure acquisition. Okay, so he said how many visits I have in my site and how many of them are not abandoned the site after 1 second. That obviously they been there just because they clicked on the wrong thing or they're not the right target audience. So this is what he defined as acquisition. It could be something else. If you have an app, it could be how many installs you have. Okay. So few examples here. You have You have many different ways to acquire users. You have around 10. Maybe before giving the idea, do you have any, like, what do you think are different ways to acquire users?
Marketing, AdWords.
Okay, so ads, paid ads. This is one way.
SEO. Word of mouth.
SEO, right? Search engine optimization. Basically mean you know that you're searching something in Google and there is like the first results which are not sponsored. This is what's called SEO. This whole field of organically put your website or product in top of list.
Events.
Events, right? Doing it through. Newsletter is a way to acquire users, or newsletter is something that you do after you acquire users.
For us, it's a way we think about acquiring. I work in a think tank, so we want to bring people to our content. And when we put out a new piece of content, we address our existing user base and get them to come back.
Okay, so yeah. So I think you're more progressed. Like for the first time that anyone see, you're right. Maybe like through existing users, it's
social media presence.
Okay, social media presence, exactly.
PR.
PR, right? Word of mouth. Okay, so you see we have pretty many, and we have a bit more ways to acquire users for the first time. How do you choose? There is no one answer. For this business, it could be that paid ads works the best, and for other business, could be that PR works the best. The best way to know what works the best is to try always. So basically, you would search the place that there is high volume, meaning that most of your users are in this space. There is low price. Okay, in the end of the day, you always compare price and best performing place where you're getting the higher conversion. It doesn't mean where you have, could be that in one place you reach, I'm having my article, I have a really great PR and someone in New York Times write about my business. But could be that it's not relevant for New Yorkers, okay? So I'm reaching tons of people, but performing wise, it probably will perform poorly. Not many people will click on the link. And could be, that really small paper, local paper will write about my business, which is super relevant, and I will get best performing. In the end of the day, we measure it by something called CAC, which is customer acquisition cost, which means how much it costs you to bring one user. And you just do A/B testing. You're trying this, and you're trying this, and you're trying different methodology, and you see what is the CAC in each one of those places. So a few examples. This is Bagel, Ophir Bagel. He's a friend of mine. And a few years, actually, it was I think 2 years ago, he saw there was a really high trend around Bitcoins. I don't know if you remember, it was a huge hype around Bitcoins. And he wanted to be part of this hype. And he thought what he can do around it. So he searched, and he saw that many people search how to buy Bitcoin with PayPal. This is, by the way, looks super simple, stupid simple way, but it gives you a really good understanding of what people are searching and what are the trends right now. And he then saw the website that appears when you're searching how to buy Bitcoins with PayPal. There aren't many results. So he spotted an opportunity he wanted to take, and he did it through SEO. So he basically he already had a website about Bitcoins, but he just shifted off his website to create content about how to buy Bitcoins with PayPal. So his methodology to getting more users was by SEO. Now it looks simple, it's not that simple. It was around 3-4 months But now he's second place in Google. He's earning lots of money organically just by getting many people that come and just buy bitcoins through his website, and he's doing affiliation, so we get a rev share of each one who buy bitcoin. Another way is a company called SeatGeek, which is a really interesting company. SeatGeek is an search engine for music and sport secondary ticket market. So if I want to buy a ticket for a concert, I can buy it from someone who is selling, and the price might be different. So SeatGeek, Seat and thought, what can they do to create effective marketing, to acquire users? And they understand that they have something that no one else have, something that is very unique only to them. Can you think what is the thing that only SeatGeek have? They have data. They have lots of data because they're seeing what's the pricing surge look like, and they're seeing what events making more money, and they're seeing lots of those things because they're basically a marketplace for selling tickets. So what they've done is basically genius. They said, okay, all of our marketing going to be PR, but it's not going to be PR because we raised money or because we did collaboration with Coca-Cola or because we did an exit. It's going to be data-driven PR. It means that they establish relationship with journalists and sport journalists, and every time they're giving them data that they can use in order to write in articles. You're writing about Jeremy Lin. Jeremy Lin just raised the Knicks prices, back in lots of years ago. And then journalists write an article and said all of this data is thanks to SeatGeek, the search engine for secondary tickets. Now, they did it for the first time, for the second time. In the end, they have a really good relationship with journalists, and all of their acquisition today comes from data-driven PR. So this is their strategy. This is different articles. It's pretty small, you can see it, but it leads to their website. So I think you said most of the things here. Something you didn't say is BizDev, so collaborations with places that bring you the users. SEM, this is all field of ads. Social network, you said. Campaigns, content, direct TV, direct leaderboards, those still exist in some way. So all of those are ways to acquire user. Now, I know probably it's not that new for you, but it is new in a way that when you define the goal of your campaign, this is what you should think. What are my goals? What are my options? And what do I do? So instead of just doing everything, because no one succeeds, not even size of a company like Google succeeds of doing everything. Every time I'm going to a campaign, I'm choosing one goal. Okay, so after doing acquisition, you're moving to activation. Activation is the second phase. Activation basically means the first experience user have with your product and making him do the first desirable action. Could be that this action is to sign up to a newsletter. Could be that this action is to sign up and create an account. Could be that the first action that you choose that is the most meaningful to your business is to play 3 games in a row, okay, if it's in a gaming app. So you decide what actions you want the user to do in the first time, and this is a very important stage because if the user, getting to your website but doesn't do any action, most likely it wouldn't go back. And it could be that what you see in your marketing funnel that you acquire tons of users, but no one actually is active. So what can you do in order to activate them, in order to make them do the desirable action? Do you have any assumptions, ideas?
Incentives, like premium model, or give them more credits if it's a game.
Okay, but the thing, I don't know the game, so it's not like I don't want to play because I don't have any incentive.
Reach out to them, probably have their contact information.
Okay, so giving them more information. Okay, so this is true. This is one of the options that you have. So here are 3 examples. First, you are direct users. Many times, we want them to do something and they're doing something else. Sometimes we just need to listen to what they do because it could be that it's just very simple and we just need to follow what they do. But sometimes we just need to give them some instructions. I know it sounds very cold. I call them users and not people. And I'm saying let's teach them what to do. But when you're dealing with a mass and with a lot of people, you should think that you need to kind of like show them what you want them to do. It's not intuitive sometimes. So one example is, when you install an app, you have those like small tutorials that are kind of like showing you in an interactive way what you want them to do. And it's important because if they're not opening an account, could be that next time they're just not going to use the product, or if they're not playing the first game, they won't remember you. So it's important to have the first experience and make them to do what you want them to do in order to keep them in the game. Another way is to give them value, immediate value. So could be that here in Foursquare, for example, it's giving you things already that you don't need to think so much. It doesn't require me any effort. It's the same when how much sometimes they try to push you to sign up to your account, just because they can give you then customized content for you it will be more valuable, and you will get some value without putting too much effort, because no user will put effort if he doesn't know what you're selling. And the last thing, and this is kind of a smart example I picked up last week, I watched Game of Thrones in Showtime, and the episode was about to finish, and they just sent me this push notification that there is another show of Showtime that I can play after. Why? Because they know that I'm going to finish, and they want me to keep me engaged inside the product. So they also think what will happen when the cycle of what I'm doing is going to end. So if your goal right now is to keep them engaged, make them stay in your product more, first you need to make sure that they know what they're doing, that they're doing the right action, and second, that you give them some incentive to stay longer. So this is the second goal. Okay, so like I said, homepage and landing page and product features. So product features are what I showed, and homepage landing page could be that they're getting to your landing page, but they don't understand what you want from them, or you have too many call to actions. Like, what do I need to do? Do I need to sign up to newsletter? Do I need to leave comments? You need to do it, keep it super simple. Have one action that you want them to do in the first time that they're going inside your product, inside your venture. Okay. Cool. The third one is retention. Okay, so we said you acquire them, they got into your website, they sign up and open an account, and now they left because they're not using only your product, and now you want them to go back. This is something that most of the business are struggling, making them return. There is something called churn rate. Churn rate basically means how many users you're losing on each day. So if I started using your app on day 1, and with me, there were another 99 people, so 100 people started using your product on day 1, and then they come check our group after 30 days, how many of us stay and still using your product, come back to your product. So this is what's called churn rate. Usually, churn rate of an app, for example, is around 70%. It means that only 30% from the users that you acquired in the top are staying and actually using your product. Now, it's very important to understand, because the first thing that the company say, no problem, I will enlarge the paid media budget because I need more users, and they just pouring more water into this bucket that's called your product. But if they don't return, it basically means that you have some holes inside your bucket, and the water just pour out. So all of this money that they spend in order to put money inside the bucket is just wasted money. So retention is how many of those users that came into your product, sign up into account, are coming back and use it once again. So this is, this guy that wrote this thing, decided to measure it by opening emails. So the fact that I went to the website, signed up to a newsletter, and I read the first one, and then they sent me another one after X days, how many of people opened the second one, and repeat visitor in the website. For an app, usually it's something called daily active users. So how many users using your app, or monthly active users. There is also another something called MAU divided by DAU divided by MAU, which is daily active users divided by monthly active users. It means that in a time frame of a month, how many users repeat and use your product. Okay, so what do you think here? Like, can you think about examples, even from products that you're using? What are things that marketer can do in order to make existing users to go back? New content, right? Updates, yeah. So how will user hear about updates if they're not going back to the app? Right. So push notification is another mean. So push notification is almost the most thing that is most common today. But because there is a lot of noise, and this is something we always have in marketing, it doesn't matter which stage you are, there is always a lot of noise because there are many people that try to make retention. You're starting to be more sophisticated. So a few examples here. Okay. So first one, Tinder. So Tinder has the geolocation of the user, right? He knows when I'm in San Francisco and he knows when I'm in Tel Aviv. He also knows when I'm in Burning Man or some event that many people are concentrated in one place. So wow, Tinder is on fire in your area. Chances of match are 3 times higher right now. Always when the message is customized to me because it knows where I am right now, there is higher chance that I will listen. And also, this is just retention. Like it doesn't. In like 20 years ago, those were like, we miss you, come back. We haven't saw. No one comes back. It's like, okay, but it's not like a real relationship. So just saying we miss you is like really for the low-hanging fruits that actually forgot about you. But most of the people didn't forget about you. They don't see really the need to use you again. And then they forget about you. So Tinder basically used geolocation in order to make more smarter push notification. Another thing is newsletter. You sign up to the newsletter. This is kind of a hook. I have your details. And I'm not just going to send you this email that I'm sending to everyone. I'm going to customize it. So if you ever run a newsletter, you know that there is a really smart, you can cluster people by how many times they return and what exactly did they do inside your product. And you send different email to different people depending on the time that they last used your product. So this is Netflix. They sent me this, I see Scandal. So Scandal season 5 is now on Netflix. They know it's something I will be interested in. So they send me this newsletter. So newsletter is another way for attention. And it's a great way. And the last one, and I'm sorry that it's lots of dating app. I could try to switch it today with something from ROI, but I don't know why Prezi didn't let me. So another thing is not to send push notification and newsletter are kind of like things that external to your product. And now another way to do it is to do it before they churn, okay, before they leave your product, to just do something inside your product that they know there is some time constraint that make them go back, but not immediately. So there is some high value where I'm playing a game and then I leave the game and then I know I need to go back to the game, even if it's fake, even if this is an app called Mumble, and basically they tell you that you have 24 hours to start a chat. Otherwise, this lovely guy will going to disappear forever. Now I'm stressed. I don't want him to disappear, so I need to go back in a time frame of 24 hours. So you all probably remember Candy Crush, right? They did the same. You cannot play, and in the beginning it's counterintuitive because you're like, wait, they don't want me to play again? It's weird. I know gaming company want me just to play and play, but no, they understand the power of retention, and they understand that if they giving you a hard stop, you will want to go back because it's kind of like a party. If you're leaving before it ended, you want to go back. And then the one who keep dancing while it's ended, it's probably it's not the best experience. So you need to leave when it's really good. Another option is brain date, right? We got this newsletter call to action. You have 24 hours to register to a brain date. So this is another way to make us return and to go back to the product. Okay. And referral. So referral is the K factor, what I told in the beginning about one person bringing another 3 friends. What are good ways to, if my only goal right now is to create referral, what means you think I have?
You give an incentive to that first user for bringing in other people.
Right. So we all know.
For Uber, you send.
This is my first example.
$20 off a ride, yeah.
Right, Uber. So incentives. And okay, incentives. So there is incentive. There is also like contest and stuff that like which is also type of an incentive if you think about it. So Uber is the first one. You're right. We both get $30 if I'm bringing another friend. It worked amazing. It's very traditional marketing, but it just worked. The second one, which is interesting, is pride. Okay, we want to share things that make us look better. How many of us put stuff on Facebook? We never write that we're sad, right? We only write when we're happy. And I think Facebook became to be more and more channel for kind of like business utilization. So, oh, look at me, I'm meeting Warren Buffett. I mean stuff like that we know that will make us look better. And for the marketer, it's kind of like a win-win because for the marketer, it will make him to spread his word out by using evangelists. So I don't know if you remember this. You remember this campaign? I love this campaign. It was like a genius campaign of LinkedIn. And basically, they send a newsletter, an email, to their users saying, congratulations, you're the top 5% most viewed LinkedIn profile. No call to action, like read more, this leads to some boring statistic. But I'm getting this. First, I'm flattered. Second, I want everyone to know that everyone are looking at my LinkedIn profile, so I'm putting it up, like I'm sharing it. And then other people are like, I want more people to look on my LinkedIn profile, and they go and they open an account, or they're like curious what it is, and they open an account. So this is using emotional like pride. It's a good way to incentivize people to share your product. Another great way is by community and by creating evangelists. So JTunes, this is a startup that I worked before Google. We basically created apps that teach kids how to play piano. And we had a few models that we thought how to acquire users, paid ads, events, conferences. But in the end, one of the best channel is, you see it's closed group because only JTunes teachers get accepted to this group. Those are power teachers. Those are teachers that are very much, that have a really good name in their community. We took one teacher from each district and we told him, you're a JTunes teacher right now. We're seeing you as part of us, you're part of the team. Every time we thought about launching a new feature or changing the app or adding things or removing things, we talked with them. Like it wasn't like a focus group, it was like a meeting, like a work meeting. We called them, we consulted, they felt they're part of it. And because they felt they're part of it, and it's not only they were part of it, like I consider them as my partner, they also were our evangelists in field. So I can put paid ads, but I'm not a piano teacher. I'm not in the community. People won't come to consult with me, Karin, who is the growth hacker of JTunes, when they want to sign up their kids for piano lessons. So creating an evangelist is another great way to make virality, to make one person who is an opinion leader to spread your rumor. And yeah, this is all, I'm thinking of stars. Another way, which is, okay, you see this? It's not by mistake. So you know how it's like in an app, sometimes they ask you to rate their app when you finish to use it. This is super important because basically many users, when they go to install an app, the first thing that they see is like, the stars. If I see 2 stars in an app, there is no way I will install this app. So rating is very important. It's also kind of going into the algorithm of Apple and Google of like how they rank apps. So what people are doing, and I'm not sure if you notice it, but first you always ask users to rank an app where you're happy users. Okay? When you just had a really positive experience with the product. I finished 5 games, I found a match on Tinder, I found a coffee shop that I searched. So only in this exactly point where they know I'm happy, they will show me, do you want to rank us? Then there is the second field. It doesn't end up here. I have 2 options, yes or no, right? But instead of using what Google and Apple bring you, which is like basic methodology of like showing user screen, do you want to rank us, yes or no? Marketers putting another layer. What does it mean? Yes. Okay, if I'm writing yes, great. We send you with our blessing to App Store or to Play Store to rank our app. If users say no, I don't want them to go and rank my app. I'd rather to close it between us, right? So I'm sending them to an email, support email. Why not? Tell us what's the problem and we will fix it. Because I know that I'd rather to fix it and to help this person and to solve the problem than the whole entire world will see 1 star. Okay, so this is another virality kind of thing, which is less about sharing, but it's mostly about making sure like happy users, distribute their love to the product. Okay, this is the last one. So yeah, we have campaigns and contests. We also, again, emails and widgets. This is another means that we can ask people to share our product and use contests or campaigns in order to make them more incentivized to do it. Okay. Revenue is the last one. We have 10 minutes. Okay. I'm thinking if I should just continue until the end or I should leave place for question. Are there like how many questions are right now? Okay, I'll continue until the end. Okay. So revenue. Great. I have users. They're using my product. They set up an account. They're going back to my product. They even tell their friends about it, but they're not paying money. How can I make them to add their credit cards to start paying me subscription or in-app purchase or buy the product that I'm selling? So here are 3 examples. First, just do premium and freemium. Okay, so just it's more about modeling inside the product. So this is what Spotify are doing. And second is just give them some incentive. Again, everything is driven by incentive. So give them any incentive to do something that they need to put inside the credit card. They're getting something for free. Again, freemium, and then they're paying money. And basically, the idea behind is just really simple. You just need to try the product and really love it before they're putting up credit card. Usually, the statistics say that if they're putting inside credit card, they will also pay. So we're treating this stage as something very meaningful. And this is just an interesting model that is also about making them pay. If you read Dan Ariely's book, this probably look familiar. It's A and A minus theory. Basically, when you go to buy something using a product and you have 3 options, right? You always have 3 options, and it's not just because. Basically, the idea is that, let's say this is, you can pay $2 a month or $200 for 4 years, okay? Something like this. For me, I will see 2 different things, which will be hard for me to compare them. And I don't know what to choose. So because I don't know what to choose, I will choose either the cheapest option or just go back and wouldn't buy anything. In order to make the options that you want them to buy, you need to do 2 pricing methodology that are easier to compare. So this is the A minus. What does it mean? It means that you're putting something which is really not attractive. Okay, it's not an attractive deal, and you're putting deal next to it that it's very easy to compare and it is attractive, and then you're putting the 3rd deal. But because when users go inside the product, it will immediately compare between the unattractive deal and the attractive deal, and said, "What? They think I'm stupid? Like this is much better," and you wouldn't compare this to this because it's just too hard. And then they will have the feeling that they choose, which is a very important feeling to make them feel, and they choose to take this deal, which this is basically the deal that you want them to take. So I know it's kind of like messed up, but I can also explain it better after. But usually you just need to think about like 1 month, 2 months, which is not that attractive, or 3 months, which is not that attractive, and then 1 year. Then they will choose the best from the A and A minus. I hope it was clear. Okay. Cool. So last thing we're going to do before questions is just show you the whole entire loop, because we spoke about many different things. So Quora is a great example. They're doing a really good cycle. So the first one you remember is acquisition, right? So they basically acquire users by using social, by using their evangelists. So this is a guy, he wrote, who is the world's greatest living badass and why? Left a link, most mind-blowing answer I ever read in Quora, so insane. Let's say I'm following this person, Dave, and it sounds interesting, okay? This is their acquisition methodology. I click on a link, they acquire me, right? First time, I go into their website. Phase number one. Phase number two is to make me feel engaged, right? To activate. Their activation is to sign up to their newsletter. It's pretty blurry, but sign up to their newsletter. So I need to have a happy first experience. I'm reading a question that I wanted to read and it's interesting, and I sign up for their newsletter. Second step. Then, few days go by, right? I don't read questions all day long, and then they want me to go back to the website. They want to retain me. So then I'm getting this email that has some questions about topics that they think I will be interesting to read about. Their goal in this question is basically to tempt me to go and click and go back to the website. Okay, so they want me to be a returning user. But why? Because if I'm a returning user, there is higher chance that this will become a routine and I will be more active user in the website. I go back to the website, and then they want me to start and sharing the related questions. Now is my time to become this referral model and to bring them new users, because their referral is also their acquisition strategy. So they show me some related questions, and there is a very clear call to action next to each one of the questions that make me, that incentivize me to share if I'm reading an interesting question. And this was from a few years, so back then Quora didn't have any monetization opportunity. Today they do have. What do you think they have? Or you know they have? Yeah, they have paid ads of like, I want my question to be first. Why? Because many businesses starting seeing Quora as, you know, sponsored place of like, oh, this is the best product, and by the way, I'm the CEO. So sponsor question, this is their monetization. So this is kind of like how they closing the loop. So this is it. It was many topics, and it was kind of like, it was less about how you use each one of the tools. It was more about just opening your minds to try and think about the goal. And also, regardless to your goal, measure all of your funnel, okay? So define what each step means in terms of your project or your ventures or your product. How do you measure it? How many percentage you lose from stage to stage? Where you have the biggest opportunity to grow? And then this probably need to be your goal, and what means you have in order to reach this goal. So this is like the cycle that we do, and again, it doesn't matter if it's a small company, big company, medium company. This is a really good methodology that, for me personally, this is how I work. So for me, it helps. Is there any questions? Okay. Thank you so much.